with example number 6, we're told, let me read it specifically here, all right, that on the graph of y equals f of x, the slope at any point xy is triple the value of x. Okay, and we have to figure out what f of 2 is if we know that f of 4 is equal to 27. So we're told verbally that the slope is triple the value of x. Okay, now slope we know is another way of saying derivative, and triple means times 3. So what we're told is that f of x, or f prime of x rather, is 3x. Okay, now that's can be difficult to figure out there, but we have to translate. Okay, so now that we figured out what f prime of x is, we can just do what we've been doing in the previous 2 examples. Let's take our antiderivative and then use the initial condition. So when we do our antiderivative, f prime of x no longer will happen to be f of x. It's going to be 3x squared over 2 plus c. And we know that when we plug in 4, we get 27. So 27 is equal to 3 times 4 squared over 2 plus c. 4 squared is 16. Tripled is 48. 48 plus, divided by 2 would give us 24. So we have 27 is equal to 24 plus c, and therefore c is equal to 3. Okay, and if that's the case, then we now know that we can put a plus 3 right here, and we can determine what f of 2 is. F of 2 is going to be 3 times 2 squared over 2 plus 3. And that's a correct but unsimplified answer. If we want to simplify it, well, 2 squared is 4, and half of that is 2. 3 times 2 is 6, so we have 6 plus 3, which would be equal to 9. In our final example, we're told, again, we're not specifically told that f prime is equal to 6x plus 1, but we are told that the curve has a slope. So we see that word again. All right, so the derivative is, in fact, 6x plus 1, and our charge is to use the initial condition to come up with the actual expression for the function. So antiderive, plug in your values, and figure out what c is. So let's go ahead and do that. If f prime is 6x plus 1, then f of x will be the antiderivative of that. So we've got 6x squared over 2. And again, if you see that as 3x squared, you can write it as 3x squared right away. That's great. That shows that you're progressing as your antiderivative skills are increasing. Right? And we have plus 1, which becomes plus x, and we have our plus c. And you don't have to write the 1 in front of the x there. Okay, so this is our f of x, and we know that when we plug in -1, we get 4. So that means we're going to have 4 equals 3 times -1 squared plus -1 plus c. That's enough information for us to determine what c is equal to. Right? This -1 squared is still 3, so we have 4 is equal to 3 minus 1 plus c. 3 minus 1 is 2. So c plus 2 is 4. So c has to be equal to 2. We just go back here, and we can replace c with 2. And, actually, I should probably put it down here. That one looks a little bit nicer. There we go. But either one will work. All right, c is equal to 2, and our function is 3x squared plus x plus 2.